Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob Walters. Welcome to the Locked Up Sports Weekend Wrap-Up. We got a lot going on today. 3 of the final four teams have been decided as San Diego State joins UConn and FAU with one more game left to play this afternoon. The Mets, the Yankees, continue to deal with injuries as opening day looms on Thursday. We will talk about that. The Knicks with a big week ahead. The Rangers with a good win last night. They have a big week ahead as those two teams head for the playoffs. But we just finished up a San Diego State win in a good game. And let me start out by saying, listen, I'm sick of the fact these timeouts that they call at the end of these games just kill any drama and any momentum that the game has. I mean, you'll have a stoppage in play, and there'll be 4 consecutive timeouts called with 2 commercial breaks. It kills any momentum, and it happened at the end of this game. The reviews are bad enough. I get that you want to get it right. There was a long review at the very end of the game, and it was a controversial finish. I guess Creighton people are not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy with the foul called at the end. Okay, they're not going to be happy that they didn't get another chance in that last second as the ball was inbounded. What happened, if you didn't see the game, was Creighton was down 2 with about 10 seconds left. San Diego State was inbounding the ball. They threw it away. Creighton tied it. They basically gave a layup to Creighton. They tied the game with six and change seconds left. Okay, so San Diego State inbounded the ball, came down the court. They did the Trammell drove to the lane. A foul was called as he threw up a floater that missed. So what happened was he goes to the line. Now, was it a touchy foul? Was it a foul? Should it have been called? You could go either way. The guy had his hand on his hip, on his back, on his side. Listen, it was a foul. You can't say it wasn't. It was a foul. But should it have been called? That goes back to the argument we had with the Super Bowl. Do you want the game called the same? Do you want the refs to decide it? I think in basketball, it's different than in football. I think that was a foul. I think that should have been called. The kid, 75% free throw shooter, went to the line, bricked the first one, not even close. Second one he got, which is hard to do because, I mean, you break that first one, all the pressure in the world is on you on that second free throw. He made it. There was 1.2 seconds left. Creighton got their high school quarterback under the hoop to inbound the ball, try and have another Christian Laettner type situation. And what happened was he just, he threw it. It went off of some hands. It went out of bounds. There was another long review, but there was like 9 timeouts called in between this and 2 commercial breaks. And then, it took like 20 minutes to play the last 10 seconds. And I know that's like the joke with basketball, but it gets a little ridiculous. You lose interest in the moment. You miss the moment when you do something like that. They got to do something about the back-to-back timeouts that get called at the end of these games. And I know you don't want to, leave a timeout in your back pocket at the end of the game, but sometimes, you just can't have it. You got to, this tournament is all about the moments. It's all about the drama and the moments. And when they just have long stoppages in play like that with timeouts, then the players come onto the court, another timeout is called, they come back on it kills the moment. And that's what this tournament is all about. It's all about moments. So we are now 3 of the 4 slots in the Final Four in Houston next week are filled. You got UConn, who is red hot. Listen, UConn has blown everybody out in this tournament. Nobody's even given UConn a game. They're clearly the favorite coming into this, regardless of who wins the Miami-Texas game coming up in a little while. But UConn is red hot. I don't know if they're going to be able to get beat. They are, like I said, they're going to be the prohibitive favorite. They played well for the last 2 months. They blew out Gonzaga, which nobody saw coming last night. And if you say you saw it coming, you're lying. You didn't see it coming. Gonzaga hung with them in the first half, and then just in the second half, UConn just blew them out. UConn wasn't missing anything. They were hitting their threes. Gonzaga just was turning the ball over, not playing well. And give them credit. UConn's going in there. I don't know if they're going to get beat. I don't think Miami or Texas is going to beat them. I'm going to be rooting for Miami in this next game. But in the Final Four, I'm going to be rooting for FAU. And how can you not? How can you not root for FAU next week unless you're a fan or an alumnus of one of the other three schools? There's no way you can't root for FAU. Little nothing school, Cinderella, 9 seed out of Boca down in South Florida. FAU, they beat Kansas yesterday. They're a good basketball team. Now, yeah, are they Cinderella? Yeah, they're a Cinderella. They're certainly the Cinderella in this tournament, but they're a good basketball team. They're well coached. They have size. They get rebounds. Davis is a big time player. Okay. Golden is 7-1. So they got some size down low. They could get physical with you. FAU can get themselves to Monday night. That's what I'm saying. And I think they could beat UConn. I think anybody could beat anybody here. I think UConn will probably advance over the winner of this next game. Now Miami's another good story. You know, you just watched a 4 and a 5 seed play to get into the Final Four. So, you know, it's been a pretty wild tournament. It's been a good tournament. There wasn't a ton of buzzer beaters, but there was the upsets. It never disappoints with upsets. Okay, it was unpredictable. Nobody had all these 1 seeds out before the even Elite Eight. First time in tournament history, there's never been a single 1 seed in the Elite Eight. So you have that going. It's going to be fun. And this next game is going to be fun, too. I like Jim Larrañaga, so I'm going to root for Miami over Texas because I have no rooting interest in Texas. I could really care less. I was rooting for Creighton. That's a tough loss for Creighton, but the Big East stood strong in this tournament. They played very well. The Big East is one of the better conferences in the nation. I mean, the Big Ten, overall body of work, the Big Ten is the best conference. But they didn't show up at all. Here in the tournament, you had Purdue getting knocked out. It was not a good year for the ACC. The ACC did not really make much noise in this tournament. So we'll see. It's going to be fun next week. We got one more game to go. The FAU game last night, the Kansas State, you have this kid Noel, who's just he's an unbelievable college player. People are talking about his pro possibility in the NBA. Listen, he's just too small, I think. He's too small. He's 5'8". He's my size. It's hard to play in the NBA at 5'8". Do I think he'll get a chance? He might get a G League chance. He's not gonna get drafted, I doubt. But put all that aside. That really is irrelevant because in this tournament, he was the best player. He was the best player by far in this tournament. Last night he put up 30 points. He's been he has the record, the NCAA tournament record for assists in a game, which he did in the Sweet 16 with 19 assists. And he's been the best player. He was the best player in this tournament. And to me, it's not even that close. He had an all-time performance at Madison Square Garden on Friday night or on Thursday night. Okay, he played unbelievable with the assists. He got hurt on the week that Willis Reed died. He comes back, injured leg. And he played better than Willis Reed did in that game because he was the best player on the court. Willis Reed wasn't the best player on the court that night in Game 7. But he played great, and the problem I have with him last night that I wanted to get to is he had 30 points. He's the best player on the floor. He's your best player. And he doesn't take the last shot. They didn't even get a shot off on that last possession. To me, that's criminal. You got to give him why did he not take the shot? He passed it, and I get it. He's a facilitator. He's a guard. That's what he does. But he had 30 points last night. He was all over the place last night. He was playing great. He was hitting his shots. He doesn't score 30 usually. That was one of his better games. And for him not to even put up a shot with the Final Four on the line, I think it's a mistake. I think he's going to regret it. I don't know if they drew the play up for him or not, but I think, listen, they're going to regret that. You have your best player who's having a big game. Give him a shot. You got a Final Four on the line. Give him a shot. So he didn't get the shot. FAU, still dancing. They are the cardiac kids. I mean, give them credit. They've trailed in every game in the second half in this tournament. They've come back. They played clutch defense, big time shots, good, well coached team. They got size. FAU is going to be a problem in the Final Four. As I'm watching San Diego State cut down the Nets, and there will be one more team in the Final Four, and it's going to either be Miami or it's going to be Texas. And listen, I don't need to break down the game for you. You've all seen it. Everyone's brackets are busted at this point. As far as this bad boy goes, if UConn wins, it's going to Drew, who seems to just win everything on this show. He's won every contest we've had, except for last year's bracket pool. So he's going to have his bracket pool, and if UConn can win, he will win. If UConn doesn't win, there are some people who can win still. There are some people who can win. So we'll see who this bad boy goes to next week. It's last night also the Rangers played last night. Again, another slow start for the Rangers. This team just gets off the slow starts. It's going to come back to bite them when they're playing in the playoffs if they continue to do this. Okay, they fell behind 2-0 first period to Florida, but they came back. You got goals from Hito, Kako, Lafreniere, and Kane. So the kids are playing better. The Rangers are all over the map this season. They started out low, not playing great. Then they picked it up. They played excellent. They've had a good last month. The power play is really struggling. Continues to really struggle. I don't know why it struggles. They have plenty of star power on that power play. You got Fox at the blue line. You got Kane. You got Panarin. Zibanejad. The power play should be scoring much more than it is. That I don't know. I think that will figure itself out. I think they're just kind of getting unlucky. They got to hit the net, put pucks on net, and you'll be okay. Now, the interesting thing with the Rangers is they're on a crash course with the Devils for the playoffs. And that's going to be a wild, good, long series if it happens where it's going to be the Rangers and the Devils. And it looks like it's pretty much nailed down that that's what it's going to be. They're going to be 2 and 3. It's just who's going to be 2, who's going to be 3. It's probably going to be the Devils 2, Rangers 3 in the division. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Rangers Devils, they've had some all-time series in the past. Of course, 97, they were game 7 overtime goals on both sides. Teams scored. Listen, that's going to be fun. Rangers this week, they have 4 games this week. 3 of them are on the road, okay? Tuesday, they're home to Columbus. Then Thursday, they're at the Devils, which should be an interesting game. That's a big game for both teams. That could, in the grand scheme of things, decide who will get a game 7 if it's played with them. Friday, Sabres, and then Sunday, the Capitals. The final 3, Devils, Sabres, Capitals, all on the road. And it's a big week for the Rangers, okay? Get to the playoffs, and it looks like it's going to be the Devils. So we'll see. That's going to be a lot of fun if it is the Devils. Opening day this week, Thursday. Baseball is back on Thursday. The Yankees are home against the Giants. Garrett Cole will be pitching. The Mets open up with a 4-game series down in Florida on the road. They play a lot of the Marlins in the first month. You know, they got 4 to open up against the Marlins. As you see here, they got 3 against Milwaukee. So a 7-game road trip right off the bat, open up the season. Then they're home, and they're home to the Marlins. And that's opening day, April 6th, which just so happens to be my birthday. So if you're looking for a birthday present, you want to take me to the Mets opening day, I'm right here. I'm here for it. Just let me know. The Mets, the Yankees, both teams are dealing with injuries. Okay, there's a ton of injuries. Severino now hurt for the Yankees, and he's just hurt. He's constantly hurt. He can't stay healthy. That is turning out to not be a good signing for the Yankees. I mean, he's hurt every year. This year, it's the same thing. The Mets have a ton of injuries, but the Yankees' pitching staff has just been decimated. I mean, it's just been decimated. Severino has a low-grade lat strain. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. He's talking about it's going to be a season of no injuries, and he's going to play all his games, make all his starts, and here we are a week before opening day, and Severino is hurt, and he's going to be put on the IL to start the season. Opening day, you're going to have Garrett Cole versus Logan Webb for the Giants. Should be a good pitching matchup. And, it'll be a full house out at the stadium. It'll be a fun day. But when it comes to opening day, nobody is better than the New York Mets. The Mets could run out anybody on opening day, and they will probably win. Okay? They have by far the best record on opening day. If you want to bet money and you want to win money, put it on the Mets opening day. That's the only guaranteed time that the Mets will make you any money. Listen, a lot of Mets fans are upset because they sent down a lot of the kids. They're starting the kids in the minors, which I don't think is a bad idea. Today they sent Vientos and Beatty both down. Both had big springs. They sent the catcher down last week. Listen, they're going with major league veteran talent to open the season. And they don't want these kids sitting on the bench. It's basically what it comes down to. They don't want the kids sitting on the bench. You don't need Beatty sitting on the bench. They screwed up his development a little bit last year by bringing him up in that Braves series. Terrible decision. Why'd they do it? I don't know. They needed they thought maybe he'd give him a spark. He did. He hit the, first at bat, he hit it out of the park. But after that, he just struggled as the Mets just lost every game that series. And basically what the season came down to was that series. And the Mets got swept out of Atlanta. We've seen it before. But people are upset. Listen, you're going to see these kids. You're going to see plenty of these kids. They're going to be up here probably before the summer hits. They'll be up here before June, July. So you're going to see Vientos. You're going to see Beatty. You're going to see all of them. But the Mets are going with proven major league talent in the beginning of the season. And it's not a bad idea. They're banged up. Okay, Nimmo's back. I didn't think Nimmo was going to start opening day. I figured he'd miss the first 2 weeks. Nimmo's back, so that's good news. Of course, you're still dealing with the closer situation with Diaz out. Is it going to be Robertson? Is it going to be closer by committee? What are they going to do? Are they going to make a move? Is Cohen going to try and buy his way out of this thing? A lot of questions surrounding the Mets. The win totals, both for the Mets and Yankees, are at 93.5. I would say over for both. It'll probably be right around the number because that's what Vegas does. They get it right around the number. They're always right. Now, the Mets, we'll go over here. The Mets projected opening day lineup on Thursday for the New York Mets. Nimmo, of course, leading off, which is a surprise. I didn't think he'd be ready. He is. He's going to be ready opening day. Then Marte, Lindor, Alonso, McNeil. That's the heart of your order. Marte, Lindor, Alonso, McNeil. The Mets are going to need big production out of those four if they're going to want to do anything this season. Scherzer's starting opening day. And then Verlander's going to pitch the third game of the season so they can line him up to start the home opener on the 6th. That's what Buck's doing. It's the way he wants to do it. The Marlins are not a very good team. It's really not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I guess I like that Verlander's starting opening day at home. It's something for the fans. Scherzer will get the ball on opening day for the season for the Mets, and then Verlander, the home opener, will get the ball, and it'll be it's gonna be interesting to see with these two, because you don't want to burn these two out. They're both older. They both have a ton of mileage on their arms. Verlander has been injured. He's had his surgery. 2 years ago, he came back with arguably his best year last year. Reigning Cy Young Award winner. The Mets have two of the best pitchers of this generation at the top of that rotation. And they have a good four here. Marte, Lindor, Alonso, McNeil. There are big expectations for the Mets this year, especially from the Mets fans, especially after the collapse last year, which basically started in the Braves series. Mets collapsed, lost 4 to the Braves, never got back on their feet. And Scherzer's going to have to come out and he's going to have to pitch well. Because the last time we saw Scherzer, he was giving up 7 runs to the San Diego Padres in game 1 of a blowout loss of the postseason. So, I'm not happy with Scherzer right now. He'll be fine. I think Buck's got to watch it. Though you don't want to overuse these guys in April when it's cold out. You just don't want to do that. That's how you get yourself in trouble in October. Now, is that what happened last year? No, I don't think it's what happened last year. I think Buck was good with the pen managing innings. I think he was good with the starting staff managing innings. I think he'll do the same thing. I have no worries about Buck Showalter. That's something that us Mets fans, we don't need to worry about anymore. We don't need to worry about the manager. Okay, the manager's good. He's good. Don't worry about it. He knows more than we do. And he's got more success. He's had success everywhere he went. He had success here last year. That was a 100-win team last year. One of the better Mets teams in franchise history. Now, as far as the Yankees go, Yankees again, big expectations. It's going to be a big summer here. World Series or bust. Beat the Astros or bust. Now, we know the Astros had a key injury in the WBC, which we lost, by the way. All that, and we lost in the finals. Trout with a chance to be a hero, an American hero, and he went down swinging on 3 pitches. So what are you going to do there? You all know how I feel about the World Baseball Classic. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I do acknowledge the fact that it is popular and people do like it. So if you missed that, I acknowledge that. I was wrong about that. People here, I know a lot of people were talking about it. But now we're down to now we're at Major League Baseball. The stuff that counts as far as I'm concerned. Now the Yankees, you take a look at their schedule here. They have San Francisco, 3 with San Francisco, 3 with the Phillies. So there's 6 games. The Yankees are 6 games into the season before they play an American League team, which is something I've never seen with the schedule. Yankees have a pretty balanced schedule here in April. The Mets have more road games in April, which is not a bad thing. You know what? These Northeast games in April are sometimes awful. It's freezing. Sometimes you get snow, you get freezing rain, there's rainouts, you got to make things up, you have doubleheaders. You're better off just being away from the Northeast. In April, it's just better. Yankees will make a trip out to LA. They will also play Minnesota, Texas, and Toronto in the month of April, and that's how that's going to start the Yankee season. And it's a long season. Baseball is a long season. Okay, it's every day. It's 6 months of the year. It goes through the whole summer into the fall. So there will be overreacting. We will all overreact. I'm sure I will overreact. I know Brett will overreact. It's just what we do. But you got to keep in the back of your mind that it's a long season. I'm not saying what happens in April doesn't count, but what I'm saying is don't go jumping off the bridge because of what happens in April. We've seen the Yankees have terrible starts and win a ton of games. We've seen the Mets have great starts and end up losing a ton of games. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And it all starts on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to that. That next week, next week on the show, we'll have baseball to talk about. Real baseball, not World Baseball Classic, not spring training. Real baseball that counts on Thursday. So the Knicks, now let's touch on the Knicks. Listen, the Knicks, they had a loss. That was a bad loss. I think it was on Thursday night or on Friday night. The Knicks lost. When did they lose? They lost them at Thursday night, 111-106. It was a game that they didn't play that well. It wasn't really even as close as the score. It wasn't even a 5-point game. Knicks kind of had a surge late to get some points, get it a little bit closer. They didn't play well. Okay? They have 2 big games coming up here. They have Houston tomorrow night at the Garden. We got to win that game. The Knicks got to win that game. They got to stay in that 5 seed. which I think they will. They have a little bit of a cushion to the Nets in the 6th seed. It's looking like it's going to be Knicks Cavs. That's what it's looking like? Knicks Cavs opening round of the playoffs, and the pressure is going to be on the Knicks. You got Donovan Mitchell on the Cavs, the guy the Knicks were targeting all last year. You got the Knicks who haven't won a playoff series in 20-something years. You have a fan base that is dying for anything to go right with this team. And you cannot lose that series. The Knicks cannot lose that series. Will it cost Thibodeau his job? I think if they lost in 5 games, it might. Because I think that's how desperate the Knicks are to win in the playoffs. They have not. It's been way too long. And we saw this week with the regional final and the regional semifinal, Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 at the Garden, that it's still the Mecca, and it can still be a great place for basketball when you get good games going. And it's even better when it's the Knicks. City just has a different feel when the Knicks are good. Just like the city has a different feel when the Mets are good than when the Yankees are, it has a different feel when the Knicks are good. We know the Rangers are good. We're poised for a real run with this Rangers team. It's going to be a fun spring around here, especially if the Knicks could muster up and get this series win, maybe even get advanced to a Eastern Conference final, dare I say. I don't think they'll do that, but I do think they need to get the win. I think they have to. I think they got some of the best. They got top stars now. Jalen Brunson's a star in this league. Julius Randle is a superstar, borderline superstar in this league. It's time to win some in the playoffs. You have to win playoff games. You have to win playoff series. These fans are still disappointed from what happened 2 years ago with Atlanta. Still haven't gotten over that, and I don't blame them. Knicks finally got a win, a playoff win in that series. Now you got to win the series. Okay, there's no excuse. There's no nothing. The Rangers are trying to get this power play figured out. I think they will. I think they're too good. The players are too good on the power play. The Rangers are a good team, a lot of star power. Will Shesterkin hold up? I think that's the question. Everyone's questioning the power play right now. The power play is going to work itself out. Which Shesterkin are we going to see in the playoffs? And we'll get a big look this week. I would imagine he plays 3 of the 4 games. They have a back-to-back Thursday, Friday night, so I think probably Friday night he will not play against the Sabres, who are fading out of the playoff race. But that game against the Devils are a fast team. They're a young team. That's going to be a test, and that's going to be a preview of the first round of the playoffs, which could be a wild series. So that pretty much does it here. I want to thank again Scott Farrell for coming on Locked Up Sports on Friday. Great interview. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on our YouTube page. You can listen to it anywhere. Of course, as always, anywhere you get your podcasts. It's a wild interview. He is as uncensored as you could get. Unfiltered, uncensored, but he makes some good points. He's funny. He tells some great stories. So if you haven't heard it or seen it, check it out. This Friday, we'll be talking baseball. We'll be talking baseball, and we'll be talking Final Four, and we'll see who gets this bad boy right here next week. Miami and Texas just underway. The last game, the last ticket to be punched into the Final Four will either be the 2 seed Texas or the 5 seed Miami, and then away we go. The smoke is cleared for the second week. The second weekend of the NCAA tournament, there will be 4 teams left in about 2 hours. And that's how it goes. We'll fill out the rest of this bracket behind me, and we'll see who takes home the first annual Locked Up Sports Challenge trophy. Drew is in the lead now. We'll put it up for you. There it is right there. And that's it. That's who's got a chance. You're gonna have to get the finals. You're gonna have to get the final winner correct. Like in any of these pools, you gotta get your champion. Everyone's all focused on the first round and the upsets. Get your champion. Of course, not many of us have it because all the 1 seeds went out the window. So that'll do it for me today. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out our social media. We are all over social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We have it all on the social media. Like us there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will talk to you on Friday. Opening day Thursday. Enjoy this last game here, Miami and Texas. Enjoy the baseball on Thursday. Big games for the Knicks and Rangers. I'll talk to you on Friday. I'm Bob Walters. We leave you tonight with some sounds from the weekend that was in the NCAA tournament. See ya.